Did you know 46% of people who have lost a loved one and 85% who have lost a spouse report some form of contact after death? Most report vivid dreams of being reassured, hearing a voice, or feeling their touch. Working with dreams, I observe how during the day, the brain acts like a filter that restricts consciousness. When we dream, the filter dissolves, and we have access to a more boundless awareness. We access guidance that transcends what we know about ourselves, pointing the way through difficulty. Dream symbols show us how we construct reality and reveal the patterns we keep recreating. To understand the difference between the dreamy and waking mind, we can look at an experiment that studies the nature of light. To determine whether light is made of particles or waves, light is directed toward a wall, but it must pass through a paper with two slits cut into it. If light were particles, they should pass through the slits and form two distinct lines on the wall. But that doesn't happen. Instead, the light does something surprising. It spreads out from both slits, ripples through the air, creating an interference pattern, like waves on water. This proves that light moves like a wave. However, when scientists try to detect which specific slit a single bit of light travels through, the moment they look, the light stops acting like a wave. It instantly takes the form of particles, leaving only two distinct lines on the wall. This experiment illustrates how an infinite wave of consciousness can be systematically compressed by what we see. Our brain stands at the gates of awareness, constantly measuring and calculating the environment for threats. This razor-sharp focus tunes out the infinite background noise so we can manipulate physical objects, track time, and navigate three-dimensional space. When we dream, the brain relaxes this filter, and these limitations dissolve. Consciousness expands into a wider awareness, where dreaming becomes a breeding ground for transformation and creativity. Waking life, then, is not the absolute truth of existence, but a highly managed illusion. It is as if a boundless sea of consciousness is systematically filtered into a single, predictable stream called the waking me. But we appear to have been designed to forget our dreams so that we can focus on survival. Even when we remember the dream, write it down, and read it weeks later, it will appear as if someone else wrote it. This is because memory doesn't work the same during waking and dreaming. When we dream, the brain regions responsible for recording, organizing, and retrieving information are either suppressed or disconnected. Levels of norepinephrine and serotonin plunge to near zero during REM sleep. These chemicals are required to move information from short-term to long-term storage. The brain can experience vivid sensations, but completely lacks the chemical ink required to translate it into permanent memory. When we dream, take psychedelics, or approach death, the slits widen and the filter degrades, and the isolated particle of human identity remembers that it was always a wave. We know that consciousness is more than the synapses and the wiring of the brain. Knowing that the brain filters, transcribes, and manages consciousness, then death is not the destruction of consciousness. It is the destruction of the filter. Stripped of the biological hardware that forces reality into a pixelated linear timeline, consciousness after death would logically revert to its native unfiltered state. The most profound evidence of our true nature arrives not in our daily routines, but in the phenomena of entangled reassurance. When a loved one passes, their biological manager dissolves and their consciousness expands back into something more like a wave. They are no longer a localized particle, but a ripple moving through the fabric of everything. When those left behind are cracked open by grief, their own filters lower, allowing them to catch the unmistakable sensation of the deceased, a sudden warmth, a vivid dream, or a voice in the quiet. In quantum physics, when two particles interact, they become entangled. What happens to one instantly affects the other, no matter the distance. The human connection may be a form of consciousness entanglement. During near-death experiences, People have the sense of meeting loved ones. This spontaneous communication is not a hallucination of a dying brain, but the logic of a unified field. Bound by love, the deceased are entangled with our reality. Our agony is a vibration felt in the ocean they now inhabit. They may condense themselves back into a recognizable form, sending a wave of peace across the barrier to soothe our distress. We are part of the same ocean, but become lost in the amnesia of living as raindrops. Loved ones don't return because they're lonely ghosts sitting in a waiting room. They return because our distress is a distortion in the field they now inhabit. They bring peace or a ripple of reassurance back through the connection, through a voice, a dream, or a sudden fragrance to soothe and calm the waters for both of you. Just as you are more than your fingerprint, you are vastly more than the narrow identity you wear by day. Your dreams, your deepest inspirations, and the enduring bonds of love are constant reminders of what the physical brain cannot wash away. Beneath this brief, pixelated human interval, you have always had access to the infinite. It is an unbroken wave that connects everything through the energy of light and love.